I have no home, I have no job, I have no headshots left, but I have one prayer, and it is the power of looking into the future with the woman to my left who I come to for help, Miss Madam Adams.
Yes?
Who will read the cards, look into the crystal ball, and help me with my fantasy team, which is really the only thing I have left. I drafted Andrew Luck #1 overall. Madam, can you help me with some issues I have?
I see you scored negative 10 points. I also see you ate an entire carton of rainbow sherbet last night.
An entire carton. And I bought a new carton and tried to hide it from my wife. But I also bought a big carton of Josh Allen. Josh Allen, you know, the Buffalo is, of course, looking in the past often, but we would like to look in the future, Madam Adams. Should we see glorious things ahead for this second-year quarterback for the Buffalo Bills? Please tell me so.
Let's take a look at the cards here. The first card I draw is the Emperor. That's very good for Josh Allen this week. It means he can overcome all of the challenges and dominate. So let's see what the cards have in store for Mr. Allen.
Wow.
The Emperor, I like what I'm seeing here. It's a sign of powerful leadership, comfort, leading others to victory. And then the other card, strength. He has the arm strength. He can overcome obstacles. I like him this week. I think he's going to be a top 5 fantasy running back. Kyle, he's going to crush it. Listen, he's the highest scoring quarterback over the last 6 weeks of 2018. This is a guy who started slow last week. Maybe he had some rust, then he got it clicking in the second half. I think he's going to get his legs going. And he's got the Giants this week. They got lit up. I think he's going to be top 5 this week. Book it.
I see a vision of smoke coming out of here. One of his receivers eliciting smoke from the crystal. See, I'm trying to get my undergraduate degree. Frankly, I'm a little confused. I thought I was at the OTB. But also another guy we can look to the future of. A colleague of mine, Mr. Nate Burleson, has been living in the past often with this gentleman, and yet we saw a breakout from a man named John Ross. John Ross with Cincinnati, new coach, trick plays, big touchdowns. We have a woman riding a lion here. What do we have for Mr. Ross?
What will the cards tell us? The cards have spoken and they deal the Chariot. This is very interesting.
Ooh. We got a tri-point hat on double horses.
It tells
what does
me
that
about
mean?
Strong decision-making, about willpower, and then there's the Fool, which contrary to its name, it's a positive thing. It represents things like new beginnings and opportunities and most importantly, potential. I love John Ross this week. He had a breakout game, 158 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. He got all the targets. My crystal ball is very murky on AJ Green and that ankle injury. I am not feeling it. If he keeps getting the targets, I think he does it again. Listen, the Niners defense looked good last week, but is there an answer for speed, Kyle Brandt?
Never an answer for speed.
Is he like the fastest guy you've ever seen?
I think he is.
And you know what else he is? Healthy.
I love it.
We love it, and I love him against the Niners. I think he has 100 yards and a touchdown, which would be regression from what he did in his breakout game against the Seahawks.
Okay. I kind of like the Fool. You got digits on the Fool? Sup? I got one more. I'm going to put in some extra cash on this one because I'm really going to have to reach deep. That's for you. I'm sorry. I have an account at the dispensary. I only have cash here. Patriots running back, Sony Michel. I've been burned time after time.
Yes,
I had the Jonas fellow. I had Stephen Ridley. I had the law firm.
I see.
Every time I put in a Patriots running back, Madam Adams, I get burned.
You play with fire.
I do, yes.
Every week.
I kind of like it. What's up, Fool?
I sense that Michelle will recover, but let's find out what the deck has to say. The Justice card. This is very, very interesting. This tells me the truth will be revealed for what Michelle can do in fantasy this year. And what's even more interesting is the Hermit card. This tells me that there's a new direction for this player. A big change, a bigger performance is likely on the horizon. And that makes sense, Kyle. Want to know why?
Yes.
Because they've got the Dolphins this week, and you're telling me that this Dolphins team isn't going to perfectly cater Sony Michel's skill set as far as game script is concerned. He is coming off a rough game. Fantasy owners are freaking out and seeking help from fortune tellers everywhere. 15 carries for 14 yards against Pittsburgh. That is a big woof, but this is not the Steelers' run defense. This is the Dolphins. I'm not worried, and he plays very well against Miami historically, and this year, the Dolphins not great. Don't need this to tell you that.
Madam Adams, if I have to come back here next week after 3 James Devlin touchdowns and James White all the time, I'm going to want my money back.
I'm going to double down on Sony Michel to give you extra confidence. I will give you your money back. No, I can't actually.
Where are you going?
It fell way too low.
Oh, it's down. All right. That's okay. You can keep it.
Instead, I will tell you that his career high in rushing yards is 133 yards. I think Sony Michel bests that.
What?
In week 2 against Miami.
This is incredible. I love it.
Thank
Look
you,
at Justice. These cards, it's like the cast of
You're
Sucker
like
Punch.
attracted
I love
to these
them.
cards.
These cards are
What is happening?
incredible.
What do you got behind your shoulder there?
Oh, I mean, we got the Ace of Cups. There's a lot of jokes I can make on that, but I won't.
Yeah.
I like Cooper Cup. That's my ace.
Not that hard to make the Sony Michel call. The Dolphins allowed 265 rush yards last year.
It is the most
including
dangerous
Lamar
game, isn't it? The Patriots running backs. Thank you,
Rex
madam.
Burkhardt does look good. Burkhead does look good. We have Will Selma out in the newsroom in Culver City. Will, I already know what you're going to say, but tell me anyway.
I will. Madam Adams, you know it all. Thank you. And Kyle, you're down on your luck. I mean, come on. Go to therapy or something. You're in North Hollywood. Come on. Figure this thing out.
Yeah, I'm a palm reader guy.
Yeah, you are right. Well, this is how prolific the Chiefs' offense has been. If Kansas City scores against the Raiders in the first quarter on Sunday, they will set a Super Bowl-era record for the most consecutive games scoring in the first quarter with 23. Of course, the pilot of this unit, Patrick Mahomes, back at practice on Wednesday after finishing Sunday's win with a heavily taped ankle. NFL Network's James Palmer reporting Mahomes was walking with a considerable limp, but head coach Andy Reid says Mahomes feels pretty good right now. Also feeling pretty good right now is Rams safety Eric Weddle. Weddle practicing on Wednesday as well. NFL Network Steve Weiss reporting Weddle is ready to roll Sunday against the Saints. He suffered a concussion and head laceration in the win over the Panthers. Gardner Minshew, the new starter in Jacksonville after Nick Foles suffered a broken collarbone in the season opener. The team adding Josh Dobbs as the backup to Minshew. What a difference a week makes, huh? All of a sudden, Gardner is the veteran QB in this locker room.
Yeah, that's what, man, I was joking out there. I was like, dang, I've been here longer than anybody right there. Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, they're asking me questions. I'm like, golly. But no, it's awesome, man. Great guys, young guys. We have a lot of fun. Look forward to, challenging each other, helping each other, and, winning games together.
And Minshew, by the way, had the fourth highest passer rating of a rookie QB in week one since at least 1950. Strong game, strong mustache. Still to come here on Good Morning Football. How should the Giants be using Saquon moving forward?
Welcome back to Good Morning Football. Despite Saquon Barkley's Week 1 performance, the Giants were steamrolled in Dallas. Let's send it over to our very own Kim Jones. She has all the details on how they can avoid the same fate and hopefully give him the ball a little bit more against the Bills.
Good morning, Kay. Let's talk just for a moment about conventional wisdom. When a football team is down by, say, 2 scores or more, it's going to abandon the run, right? You got to get yards in chunks through the air. Not necessarily when your running back is Saquon Barkley. He's already proven he can break what looks like a little run for a really big run. He has to be involved. Eli Manning knows that. Pat Shurmur knows that. The entire Giants organization knows that. Here's Eli on his running back.
Just depends on the circumstances. Obviously, you still got to keep him involved. He is a playmaker, and hey, if you can run it and get 10 yards, it's it's the same as throwing a pass. It doesn't make a difference from that aspect. You got to get make some plays and get the ball moving forward. So so obviously hope to stay in games and score more points early to have a lead, and then we can going into the second half, and then we can focus on giving the ball even more.
The Giants are preparing for the Bills on Sunday here at MetLife Stadium. Their opener, of course, against the Cowboys was one to forget. Dak Prescott had a perfect passer rating against the Giants' defense. The offense did some good, but ultimately scored only 17 points. And Saquon had just 11 carries. Get this, the Giants are 1-9 when Saquon Barkley has 15 carries or less.
I'd like to see 20 carries, 25 carries, 30 carries floor, pretty much. Appreciate you, Kim Jones, for the update on everything Giants Bills. And who's here for that matchup?
Let's go.
Cannot wait, but there are so many this week that we filled the old Microsoft Surfaces with each and every game, all 16 right here. So let's play a round of Name That Game.
Let's go.
Thank you, Kyle. From Lamar's 5-touchdown game to Quentin Nelson, blocking masterclass. There were plenty of great highlights in Week 1. So name the game that's going to have a player with the best highlight.
I'll jump right in, and I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know you're thinking, what? Is it Big Ben? Is it James Conner? It has to be Juju. Juju's going to step up. No, I'm actually looking at DK Metcalf for the Seattle Seahawks. You know what? When you play against the Steelers, because they're a hard-nosed, old-school team that likes to hit you, you need a big, framed wide receiver that can hit your back. And I think he's going to go big. He had 4 for 89 in his first outing, and I think they're just getting warmed up. I expect big plays from DK Metcalf going up against the Steelers.
As you guys know, I believe week 1 is a liar, and I think week 2 is get-right week, and I think it's going to be get-right week for the Chicago Bears.
Ooh.
Even on the road against Denver, I think this highlight reel is going to be wide open, empty in the bag. As we know, there's a lot of toys that Matt Nagy has that he didn't really use in week 1. I'm telling you the big ones. I'm talking a Tariq Cohen pass, a Cordero Patterson double reverse.
Hey.
Trey Burton still don't know if he's going to play, but last year there was a fun argument between Tariq and Trey Burton about who throws the better pass. I think they might both throw a pass on the same play. I really do. And I think with Vic Fangio knowing Trubisky, knowing the personnel, you can't just run out there with your standard offense. I think you need to go to the tricks this week. I think the Bears get right big time, and the highlight is popping.
Love it. I'm going to go with a guy who was not there for the NFC Championship game last year and a player who tore up his knee the last time these two teams played in the regular season. Cooper Kupp. I feel like the Rams have a whole offensive arsenal that they're ready to roll out here. And we talk about Cooks, who's the former Saint. We're going to talk about Robert Woods, who's going to be one of the premier guys all season, and we know Gurley. But I think Cooper Kupp is going to play a huge role in this game. He's given the Saints fits the last 2 times they've played him. He missed the NFC Championship game with an injury. We don't know what could have been had he been in there in the Super Bowl. I think Goff to Kupp in this season regular season game. Excited to see Cooper Kupp put on a show against the Saints defense.
One of my favorite performances of all of last year was Michael Thomas at this matchup in the regular season. He had 211 yards. He went crazy. And then the playoff streaks, he only had 36 yards on 4 catches. So which Michael Thomas is it against the Rams? And I feel like this one especially, he's going to come out more intense than usual, which is impossible to even imagine. There's a whole lot of great drama throughout the league as we head into week 2. A lot of great theater. So I'd like you to name the game with the most intriguing storyline. What's got your eye, guys?
Is there something more dramatic than this matchup right here? I know what you're saying. You're like, I know. I like that answer, Shrek.
My kid's soccer game today.
Yeah, you're like, it's the Colts, right? It's the Titans.
Yeah, what do you got?
Just think about this, though. Andrew Luck retires, right? They tell him he can keep his money. Brissett is now the starter. They give him a bump in money. And then you're thinking to yourself, is it really Brissett and the Colts that are going to go out there in week 1? And they did, and they played well and lose in overtime to a really good team. On the flip side, the Titans smack up the Browns, the team that a lot of people, me, were hyping up this offseason. And now you have Mariota, who's looking for money, Brissett, who just got paid a little bit more money, and both of these guys trying to establish themselves as legitimate franchise QBs. I know it. It might not be the sexiest of teams when you think of the grand scale across the nation, but if you look at the storylines and pull the curtain back, this right here is really cool theater, man. Pay attention to this game, and both of these teams and both of these quarterbacks are playing really good right now.
Last year, Mitchell Trubisky got to the playoffs, won the NFC North. Everyone was ready to crown him this offseason. We're 1 week into the regular season. We're already wondering, does Trubisky have it? I mean, it was that bad week 1.
Fair.
I think he would say the same thing. Would you draw up a worse matchup for Mitchell Trubisky than the defensive coordinator who coached against him in practice and knew all the schemes inside and out for the past 2 years? Fangio comes in. The Broncos defense did not look good against the Raiders. They're going to be mad. It's their home opener. And if the Bears start 0-2, guys, you better believe all that hype we saw last week on this day. We were in Chicago last week at this time saying Super Bowl possibility. They start off 0-2 and Fangio puts on a complete clinic on Trubisky. You better believe people are going to be jumping off that bandwagon. I think it's a very high-stakes game, more so for the Bears than the Broncos, and they wouldn't have drawn up a worse coach to go up against than Fangio.
This is the Matt Nagy game for me. Last week, he lost to a coach who had never coached a game on any level ever at home. Now you lose to the guy who was your assistant. I don't know. Nagy's his butt off. He does. I'm going to just go to this one. The guy who was wearing number 1 on the practice field for the New England Patriots, is Antonio Brown playing? If he's playing, is he playing a lot? Is Tom Brady throwing to him? Is the Miami crowd booing him? If he scores, does he celebrate? If he scores, does Brady celebrate with him? I want all of this stuff and so much intrigue. I don't know if he's going to be out there or if he's going to go for 100 yards. This is the one to look for.
The last one for you, gentlemen. From the walk-off field goal in New Orleans to the tie out in the desert, there were quite a few finishes that shocked football fans across the nation. Name the game that you think will have the most surprising outcome in week 2, Nate.
I'll go to a game that Kyle just talked about. And here's the thing. You mentioned Antonio Brown, Tom Brady, Antonio Brown. And right now you're thinking, you know what? It's all about these guys. No, I beg to differ. I think it's about these guys. And here's the thing. You might say to yourself, Nate, what are you talking about? They look so terrible in week 1. But it is the Patriots versus the Dolphins. Crazy things tend to happen.
Especially there.
I'll say it right now. I wouldn't be shocked if there was complete collapse by the Patriots and somehow the Dolphins come to play after getting smacked around in week 1. This could be the most shocking end to a game in week 2.
Say hi to Tom Brady watching somewhere up in Foxborough right now.
It's cool.
He's
No,
watching
this is for Do Your Job 4.
Oh,
I guess I was on it a lot this past one.
That's
I didn't
good.
get no clearance. You
didn't learn anything?
The biggest Patriots hater of all time.
The check is in the mail.
I'm going to go with the Colts in an upset over the Titans. I know we had Logan Ryan on the show yesterday afternoon, and he was fantastic. And the Titans have been just slighted time and time again by the national media because we don't include them in these list of AFC contenders. But I thought the Colts maybe had the greatest effort in a loss you're going to see ever. They put up 34 points on the road against a good Chargers defense, and Brissett really showed me something. There's something that's really mystical right now about this Colts team with the Andrew Luck factor. Hey, we're going to galvanize and rally around our guy. I think Indianapolis, in front of that home audience, they're going to put on a show. I feel like the Colts might nip off the Titans in this one.
All right. I'm liking this because
Sorry, Tennessee, whatever it is. Yeah, I don't know.
you like the Colts to beat Tennessee.
Yes, that's what I meant to
Okay.
say.
I missed out on Tinder. I got married, so I'm actually enjoying this.
How do you like swiping?
It's good. Thank God for MySpace, right? And just a little grinder. Here we go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Raiders. All right. I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I believe in the dirt. I believe in the autumn wind. I believe they're going to run the wheels off of Josh Jacobs. Listen, I know Pat Mahomes is going to put up some points, especially with the Raiders losing to safety, and they're going to put up some points. Derek Carr looked really good. The running game looked really good. The offensive line looked great. I believe in the dirt in that infield. I just got a feeling that this is going to feel like a Super Bowl in the Coliseum, and our minds are going to be blown when the Raiders are 2-0 and Mahomes takes the loss. I got a feeling, guys. You got to go with it.
What is it, nostalgia? Is it the fact that this you mentioned a lot the idea of them playing for the last time there. Is that going to be the entire season for them, this sort of swan song?
Well, it's that the Raiders fans aren't going to see them anymore. And it's because they got absolutely humiliated and disrespected for an entire month, and part of it was on an HBO reality show, and they said, get the hell out of here, and now I think they're better for it.
All right, Raiders, we are hours away from football tonight. A lot of intriguing storylines. There's revenge angles to this as well. So we've got the Bucs and the Panthers tonight, 8:20 p.m. Eastern kickoff on NFL.